Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, my friends. The Evo coverage continues. So yes, as you can see here, 2XKO. 2XKO is one of the many games I managed to get some hands-on time with at Evo this year. And I was extra looking forward to it because I was very lucky and blessed to play 2XKO, yes, but that was last year, and I've been fiending for about a full year now to get some more hands-on time with the game. Also, if you tuned into Riot stream during Evo, you would have seen, well, me. I was very blessed, very honored that they asked me to help just kind of showcase Braum and everything he can do with Up to Snuff, who is the creative lead behind Braum's development. I do not get out that often, living in the middle of rural Canada as I do. So to be on the big stage, that was a great honor. And if you want to learn more about Braum himself, well, I'll give you a link in the video description so you can check out the live stream where we discuss everything Braum. So now going back to the game, once again, so I did have hands-on time with the game last year during the Riot Trip, and the game is pretty different. Now, obviously not like graphically or anything, but lots of little gameplay tweaks to some of the systems, and also very specifically Illaoi. When I did get to play the game last year, Illaoi was very unfinished. I'm talking like she was like T-posing in certain moves and like animations weren't done, and yeah, just very different, right? Illaoi is now like actually completed as a character, and she's quite different than what I knew from the last trip, and I found that very fun and interesting. Like aesthetically, she was always going to be one of my characters I wanted to be interested in just because, big lady and rocking the whole, Cthulhu vibe going on. But now that I finally got hands-on time with her in her more completed form, and Dawn, aka Yohozi, was showing me the ropes, the whole Illaoi kit, now that it's completed, seems just really fun and interesting. Like some of the base stuff like do move, plant tentacle, that's still all the same and still core to the game plan, but now just the options seem really, really fun. Like one of them Yohozi was showing me was with her forward Rekka style move, if you delay just perfectly with tentacle out, you have effectively a just frame style attack where it'll give you monstrous block advantage on block or like gigantic combos on hit. The timing is a little strict. It's specifically a 2-frame window. So yes, this game has easy inputs, all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't mean necessarily that everything's going to be easy. There's still going to be a lot of, skill-based elements in the game. It's a classic. Stop me if you heard this one. Easy to learn, hard to master. Other fun things like down S1, kind of like a giant, anti-air attack. It now burns the tentacle. So if you have a tentacle anywhere on screen and you bop them with the move, it just makes the tentacle kind of ground bounce them wherever they are on screen so you can recombo. That's really cool. That wasn't in the last build I played. Same with this. They gave Illaoi effectively a ground pound style move, and if it connects, it spawns the tentacle where the move, connected. In the older build, I always felt, her range was kind of like the biggest mitigating factor of the character. And now they gave her a ground pound, they gave her a long range Rekka move. So her screen control was just so much better than the last time I played. And I'm a very big fan of that. Even stuff like now her supers, like if you hold the button, apparently you can force the tentacle to spawn on the enemy after the super's done, which is great, especially because as we saw in the trailer a little bit ago, tentacles now have effectively a command grab. That, and when you throw someone and you have the tentacle live, now it works much better than I remember it working before. Like the combo ability is just much bigger. It just like goes directly to the enemy. It teleports to the enemy before it would just kind of do the attack. Now it's much more consistent than was. So basically like grappler Illaoi. Maybe not, full on grappler mode. Braum definitely much more like that. But there's definitely some stuff to it. You have to worry about her potential just to chuck you more than the average character. So as a character I was always going to be excited for regardless. I just like the whole aesthetic, the whole lore, everything about the character. And now seeing the more completed form of gameplay and the fun things she can do from her very unfinished state I had hands-on time with last time around, I think that's really, really cool. So basically, big thumbs up on Illaoi right now. Now to talk a bit about Braum, and the footage you're seeing in the background here is me playing versus Dawn, aka Yohozi. I told her, just destroy me. Don't hold back. Don't make it look good. I'm sacrificing myself here so y'all can see, what higher level footage looks like. Also kind of ulterior motive here because everything Dawn used against me, I'm going to be stealing and using in the alpha lab beta test myself, so a little self-serving. Getting beat up now saves me time later. But yeah, anyways, for Braum, I'm very impressed with Braum. He's very defined weaknesses, absolutely, as he's a bigger character, he's slower, and all the downsides associated with that are very much a thing. Like, since he's so big, can you fuzzy guard overhead him? And yes, absolutely, it's gonna be a thing. Here's an example here. I'm trying to crouch block now, but because I'm just so friggin' big, I'm getting hit anyway. So yeah, there's gonna be 50-50 fuzzy overhead setups against Braum, and that sucks. But there's a positive flip to this. As Yohozi explained to me, Braum is also probably the best character at fuzzying people, and he can fuzzy characters smaller than him as well, not just, other giant-sized characters. So yes, he has that traditional large character weakness, but he can actually dish it out the same to everyone else as well, and that's really cool. That's equal opportunity. It's not just all downside with no positive. And lots of other fun things, like yes, he's big, he has super armor when he has his buff live on just even regular attacks, so he is, I guess, the most analogous character to the Hulk, say in Marvel vs. Capcom, whereas comparatively, I guess Illaoi is the most analogous to like Nappa in Dragon Ball FighterZ, I don't know. One of the things I did find interesting with the character for Braum is his lights specifically have almost like no range. He does need to be basically directly beside you to hit you with a light. However, naturally enough, his bigger moves, like say, mediums, heavies, the range is very big. Neutral with Braum is not too much of an issue. You don't got to work your way in too much. If you're mildly close to the enemy, his larger buttons can easily eat up a giant portion of the screen and connect. And, well, basically, he's a big boy's big boy. Everything you would want out of a larger character in a versus-style game, Braum pretty much fits the bill in that way. And things like, holding your shield and calling assists from behind the shield turns out pretty much about as strong as you thought it would be. But yeah, basically, I got nothing but positive things to say. Like, he's weak in the ways I would expect, a large character to be weak, but he's just plain fun, and I had fun playing him. And the frozen shield buff has the exact right effect. When you do have it live, you do feel like special, right? You do feel those good feels like, yeah, I feel in charge. I feel like the super version of myself, which is exactly the feeling you want. And like the reality is you'll probably screw it up and you'll lose the buff, right? I certainly did most of the time, but it has that good feeling attached to it. So yeah, basically just like Illaoi, thumbs up. I had a lot of fun. They're doing the big characters right. And of course, if you want the more traditional versus style characters, people like, Ari are very much that. So now to talk to system mechanics. I did have only limited time. I couldn't spend all day at the booth because, I had so many other appointments. I wanted to, but this was a working Evo for me. I knew I was going to be busy going in. Turns out I was even busier than I thought. But I got appreciation for a lot of new things. Like, to me, like the fuses, the groove system, as it were. I looked at a lot of those, I'm like, oh, there's only two viable ones. Either 2x assist or double handshake tag, right? They're the immediate on paper strongest. And, I just kind of looked at everything else like, whatever, right? We have like the new fuse, it's like auto combos. Competitively not going to be a thing, probably anyways. But then, playing the game more and then, especially with Yohozi helping me, just kind of beating my head in, showing me like the good stuff, I got like a vast new appreciation for like what is possible. Like, say, the double super assist, my immediate thought is, oh, double super, you get a bit more damage on whatever combo, whatever. But then moments like this, small combo goes through, okay, you get your damage, not a lot, but with the double super assist, you can make a lot out of it. So here, Braum's going for the big uppercut super, which also gives him his buff, which is great, and then doing the double super into Ari, which means he's now tagged out with the buff, and he keeps the buff for all of his assists too as well, which is really, really strong. But basically, you saved the combo, right? Like, now, instead of just being like a little hit, maybe did a super to just get a little bit of edge of damage on it, we're getting like some proper damage in, some proper combo ability in. You can also re-tag into the original character as well. And keep in mind, too, the game being the game, you can also just tag back out again, right? So in this combo, I was hit by 3 level 1 supers. And basically at that point, I'm left sitting there like, okay, now I get it. Because, especially keep in mind, right? Unless you use that specific fuse, you cannot do tag supers at all, let alone, characters doing multiple supers, not just the explicit tag super, right? So there's absolutely some stuff there. So it's one of those I was blind, now I can see moments, especially while playing with Yohozi, moments where like, getting, tag supered into just raw damage, into Illaoi planting the tentacles, and then not only am I getting, a lot of damage done to me, I then have to wake up into a nightmare scenario where I'm just getting pressured non-stop. Basically, it's one of those deals where, like, yes, obviously, if you've seen any amount of this game, you know how freeform basically everything is, right? And yet, every time I get hands-on with the game, I'm still surprised. I'm still, like, blown away. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, turns out you can do this. Like, if you're seeing this combo right here that's being done to me, like, there's some silly stuff. Braum Poro combos are indeed real. We're basically at the point where, like, other than the limits of hit stun decay, if you can think it, if you can dream it, it is almost certainly possible. And to me, for a fighter, that is absolutely a high point of praise. I'm basically at the point now, I had limited time in EVO again, I had limited time last year, and with the Alpha Lab, the beta test coming up, we can just kind of grind on it, right? Because this is going to be live for a good amount of time. It's not just going to be over the weekend like a normal beta usually is for fighting games, or really any game. It's going to be up for like a week and a half, I think. So you're going to be putting in that time. You're going to be putting in the hours, right? Going to start really exploring how things work. I have so many ideas in my head swirling, like, does this work? Does this work? Does this work? And now we're going to be able to find out because it's going wide, right? Everyone's going to be able to get their hands on it because unless you've been to like EVO or, certain other tournament events, it's not been open to the wider public till now in August. So basically, good times ahead, and I'm just going to keep gushing if I keep talking. You should be excited for 2XKO. If you like versus games at all, it's definitely going to be that kind of game. There's not many versus games out there other than Hunter x Hunter, which hopefully we'll talk about in the channel later on. And it's going to be easy to get into, right? It's simple controls. You don't got to worry too much. If you don't know the more advanced combos, ABC, launch, ABC, special, that all works pretty much for every character that I've tested. So the ground floor is easy to get into. As you're seeing, some of the setups here, yes, the game absolutely can get a lot more advanced for sure. And I think that's also, once again, another selling point. If you are wanting to put in the time, you will be rewarded for the time that you put in. Basically, I'm saying, in the future, expect a lot more 2XKO coverage on the channel because I'm looking forward to this game a lot. And all that said, though, that is indeed the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some 2XKO.